This is the Mazz and Bads Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.
Thursday, June 5th, coming to you live or pre-recorded, of course, podcast. But if you're here listening, it is what it is. 6:09 p.m. Mazz and Bad Show. I'm your host, Brandon Marrazzo, joined by the lovely, beautiful 1-year anniversary almost having Charlito Baduini and producer. And fellas, first and foremost, I cannot believe next episode is a year. I would not have known about this if Charlie Baduini did not care as much as he does. So thank you for that, Charlito. I cannot believe that this is getting serious.
Always got to keep track of the anniversaries, man. Otherwise the partner gets upset. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I'm horrible with birthdays. The only thing I know is my anniversary. Like, But listen, fellas, we're in the middle of summer. It's hot as hell out. I kind of love it. And I've picked up a new hobby. I look ridiculous right now because I've been wearing this visor a ridiculous amount of time. Because out of the last 3 out of the last 6 days, I've been golfing. I don't know why. I don't know how this happened. I've just been going to the range a little bit. And then shout out Billy and Ant got me out there on Friday. It was a last-second decision of everybody just complaining to me that I'm not going to be around for the weekend. And I went, screwed. I'm around today. Let's get something going. And we end up at Lackawanna.
Yeah,
and for some reason, I can't picture Mazz in like golf attire, like the collared shirt and shorts. You know what I mean? I just I bet you he went out.
He wore a visor.
He went out at Lackawanna in the tank top.
This is
in
me.
the tank top.
This is and I've some of my friends been like busting me like, I'm a proud Latin man, but this is not a white thing of like the whiteness. This is an old man thing. I'm 75 at heart. All right, cigars once a week again. Hitting little brewskis. I love dominoes. I love cards.
But the thing is,
now golf. Why not?
We were having this discussion with Mazz for weeks, months, years even. We were having this discussion with you, Mazz, about we need to get you on a golf course. We're going to have so much fun. Me, you, Charlie, whoever. We're going to go out on the golf course. We're going to play 9, 18, whatever it is. We're going to have a great time. And you're like, no, I'm not doing that. That just sounds stupid. No. Now he goes out 3 days out of 6 after he just started golfing. Listen to us. We give good advice, okay?
I've spent over $100 playing golf in 3 days. Listen, it's not that I thought that it was stupid. I was petrified at how bad I was going to be. All right, but then I realized,
golf sucks, dude. Golf is hard.
No, but listen, like on the course. It's like, yes, sometimes like you get like a little frustrated, but like it is so much better than being at the driving range because like if you hit a bad shot at the driving range, it's pretty narrow. Like a bad shot, like you feel terrible about it. Where it's like I can hit a bad shot on the course and it's still playable and I feel pretty damn good. At least I got it going forward, So it's like I was just completely wrong. I was intimidated. I was being a little baby about it, and here we are. And I mean, don't invite me to go golf because I'm probably gonna waste all my money. Like I'm hooked. I love it. It's fantastic. There's nothing more relaxing to me at times, other than a cigar. Everybody knows I love a good cigar. Than just being out there, with some friends, bullshitting, golfing. And 2 things go through my mind often. One, when I'm trying to clear my head, there's a Blake Shelton song, Came Here to Forget, because I come here to forget all the problems in my life. So when I start getting like pissy, I'm not even into country music like that, but there's certain songs that like just hit me. That's one of them, and I'm just sitting there trying to line it up. It's fantastic. The second thing is that whenever I'm shooting really bad, I'm just like, come on, Mazz, let's just get one right here. Let's just get one right here. It's been 5 bad shots in a row. Let's just get one right here, and then boom. It happens for me, and I instantly think of Charlie talking about a trade deal that when happened. He's like, you take that deal? Damn good deal. Every time, those are the 2 things that go through my head every time I'm on a golf course, and I think it's hilarious.
A cart girl? Like when a cart girl comes around with drinks, have you experienced that moment? It's the greatest moment ever, because you're going to get refreshed.
I didn't take the opportunity with it because I went out with, old professor of ours, shout out Professor Gitlin, and obviously I've been graduated for over a year. We had a nice working relationship, and then she was like, I hit up Tulio, and he was with her, with J-Nac and some other friends, and they were golfing already, and she was like, oh, we should definitely go golfing, so I went out golfing, but like still feeling out like the process, like we have like a good relationship, but it was always like professor student, but obviously working with her through like our internship and spending like a lot of hours working together, like another bond gets built there, and it becomes like a friendship, right? So like I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I'm not drinking until she has a drink because I don't know where we're at right now, and I was a little intimidated of, overstepping any professional boundaries because it's still a professional friendship. And then we played some golf, we got a little lunch afterwards, had a beer, like it was a good time. So I did not take the opportunity with the what do you call it, the cart service, right? Girl. I didn't take the opportunity. Yeah, I didn't take the opportunity when it came around. But I did have, quick little 2 Modelo action afterwards, so it was a hell of a good day.
Playing golf drunk different.
It could be a car boy as well. We're gender inclusive here at the Mazz and Bad Show.
Person.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to see. And just come on, dude. You stop. Like I know I'm dressed like a 50-year-old, like for crying out loud, but you're acting like a 50-year-old.
Playing golf drunk is just a completely different beast. You gotta.
I can't do that. I'm not there yet, dude.
Completely different than.
But I will say this. I want to shout out Lake Lackawanna Golf Course because that's where I've been playing. Family friendly, schmuck friendly like me. Everything. Nobody bothers you there. It's awesome. Just don't be like the worst person on the planet, right? But their tee boxes are rough, and to actually put a tee into like an actual like professional golf course, whatever you want to call it, like premier golf course. I don't know. Preakness and Wayne setting a tee. One of the best feelings in my life. I didn't have to fight with it once. Just perfect every time.
Matt, it's literally anywhere but Lake Lackawanna.
Oh yeah,
I'm saying that right
garbage, but it's fun.
You stop it. That is my home.
It's garbage.
My home.
Listen, I love Lackawanna. Yes. What was your simile or whatever metaphor for a terrible cheesesteak, but you go there anyway and you eat the terrible cheesesteak because you want a terrible cheesesteak? Yeah. That's Lake Lackawanna Golf Course. It's a terrible golf course, but you want to play 9 holes, 18 holes, and you don't want to rage, you play at Lake Lackawanna.
Well, listen, dude, sometimes you just want the shittier version of something, right? Like, if you want, like nobody actually sometimes you want, like, a good cheeseburger. Sometimes you want a Big Mac, all right? A Big Mac's not a good cheeseburger. It's a Big Mac. Like, you know what I mean? I like cheesesteaks. I can't always go to Philly, but sometimes I can make it down to Seaside for a night real quick and get like a midway cheesesteak.
Well, that's not garbage.
It's nowhere near.
That's not garbage.
It's not garbage,
that's
but it's not. It's not on the same tier.
Don't make fun of midway cheesesteaks.
Or like if you want, you ever get ice cream from the Chinese buffet?
Oh yeah,
that ice cream is horrible.
It's bad.
It's horrible, but I love it because sometimes I'm just in the mood for that kind of ice cream. I don't always want the best thing in life. Sometimes I'm in the mood for something that's familiar and it's trash, and I love it. And it's gonna make me feel good.
That's Lake Lackawanna Golf Course for you in Opakon. Go there, $25. We can promote it because we're not on WMSC. All right, let's get to the action.
It's not in. Wait, it's in Byram, you schmuck.
Byram, whatever. Get to the action.
Get to the action. Listen, we got some big action, fellas. A couple of big stories. Yeah, we got NBA Finals. We'll get to that. Yes, Aaron Rodgers just signed with the Steelers.
It's the eve of Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
No. We'll get to it. There's something bigger. We're talking about this. I want to start here, Charlie. This is for you. I'm doing this for you because I know that this is probably the biggest thing on your mind right now. And why wouldn't it be? Because you love the Knicks. We love the Knicks here. Sometimes this season we love the Knicks, but listen, Tom Thibodeau has been given the boot and he has been kicked out of the Big Apple. The Knicks said enough is enough. He's been the head coach since 2020. We've got to the Western Conference Finals, but we truly feel like we should have been in the finals, by which I agree. And they said, Tom, thank you for help rebuilding the culture. Thank you for coaching these guys up and getting the best out of a Jalen Brunson, who is a bona fide top 10 player star. You did that. You helped with that. But the main man behind the scenes, I ain't talking about James Dolan. I'm talking about the new Godfather in New York. Not the Godfather. We all know that's Miami. All right. We all know that's my man, Pat Riley. But the New York boss, as I'm going to refer to him as, Leon Rose said, enough is enough, buddy. We've reached our threshold. Deuces.
Charlie, Don Leon. And honestly, Mazz, you put it great because that's what it boils down to. I have a lot of respect and admiration for Thibs, especially what he did for the Knicks over the past 5 years. This franchise was dead. I mean, besides one playoff series win in the Carmelo Anthony era, this team had not seen any success in the 21st century. Let's just say it how it is. You know what I mean? And over the past 5 years, Thibs has resurrected the franchise. He's brought some stability back, made it respectable. I mean, of course, with the help of, Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, of course. But so Thibs gets the boot, right? And when it happened, it felt pretty reactionary because this was the Knicks' best season since the year 2000. That's not up for debate. This was the best season that any Knicks fan has seen in 25 years. But Thibs still had to go. I understand the thought process behind, how could you fire him after, he led you to this far? But it does feel like that this is the ceiling of a Tom Thibodeau team. He's not going to be the coach that's going to get you over the edge with the way he does things, which, that's up for debate. I mean, you could tell me Tom Thibodeau knows more about basketball than I'm sure 90% of the population of the world. But there was a certain limit that the Knicks hit that they couldn't get past. And I think what you saw it boil down to, especially in the playoffs, was his stubbornness to adjust. And now I'm not talking about in the Boston series, they changed up their defensive identity, which was a key factor in them winning that series. But not going to the bench earlier on in the playoffs, not changing the starting lineup when things were struggling. This was the starting five of Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns was the worst starting lineup in the NBA playoffs throughout the entire time. And they still somehow got to the conference finals. Until they went down 0-2 to the Pacers, you saw no adjustments. They moved Mitchell Robinson into the starting lineup. They started playing more guys off the bench. DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet finally started getting some minutes. But it didn't happen until his back was against the wall. Why do you not use an 82-game regular season to experiment and test things out? And it's just things like that started adding up over time. And I'm sure Worldwide West got into Don Leon's ear to talk to him about it. But listen, here's the thing. At this point, I trust Leon Rose implicitly. He's got like a 90% hit rate since he became the president of the New York Knicks. I questioned the OG Anunoby trade. I questioned the Karl Anthony Towns trade, which, be it as it may, I think it still worked out regardless of what you think of how Julius Randle did in Minnesota this year. His hit rate is so good that I cannot question him. I implicitly trust him, and I believe, I'm like 90% sure based on all the reporting that we've seen out there that James Dolan had nothing to do with this. This move would not have happened if Leon Rose wasn't 100% on board.
Now, listen, Charlie, we'll get to potential replacements in a second down the road, but sticking right here, I love that you said that because I'm feeling the exact same way, right? I think James Dolan needs credit for bringing in Leon Rose, and that's all that he's getting credit from me for, respectfully, right? But essentially, like, when you talk about the Knicks resurrection, the tier list is Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau, Julius Randle. Those are the three most important pieces. I'll get to Brunson, and Brunson will get his flowers. I've always said, if Leon Rose wasn't hired and Tom Thibodeau wasn't willing to take that job when it was not a coveted job whatsoever at the time, right? The franchise was not coveted, and for Julius Randle to take the chance to be like, yeah, I'll go play here. You guys want to pay me some money? Like, I'll show guys again, like, yo, if you play hard, this city will give back to you. It will also take from you when they feel like you're not up to the standard, and I do think that Julius Randle was up to an unfair standard, especially, after that playoff run against Atlanta. We've talked about that ad nauseum, me particularly, right? But Leon Rose is a guy that I'm following off a cliff if I'm a Knicks fan. I'm not even a true Knicks fan, right? Like, I rooted for them against Indiana, even though I was up in Connecticut, trolling a little bit with some family members watching, because I've never in my life have been around just more homers ever. I mean, like, dudes were calling for guys to get hurt out there, for crying out loud. Like, what are we doing? Like, dude, it got nasty.
I'll never cross that line.
Yeah, nah, dude, I'm sitting there. I was like, yo, like, it's not that great. One dude, it's like the start of the fourth, and he's already given up, and he's yelling, "You're gonna get swept by OKC." Like, dude, there's a whole another quarter of basketball. You have no clue what's capable of going on. Like, it was insane. It was mayhem up there. But yeah, Leon Rose is a guy where it's like, you just give him the keys, all right? You buckle up in the passenger seat, and I don't care if it's on cruise control, but that's what it's going to feel like when you're sitting next to him, Charlie. And I'm with you. I think this was 1,010% a him decision. Sure, maybe Brunson got a little input in there. If any players did at all, it would be him, in my opinion. Yes, I've said multiple times, the Cat trade worked out in both of their favors, and that's just true. And shout out Cat, side note, for once in my life, maybe it's just like this playoffs, but like particularly this last game, did not look soft out there. I've been saying he's soft for years, and he was getting after it. I'll give him those flowers. But
he looked pretty soft in Game 6. That's besides the point.
Okay, fair enough. I thought this last one he was all right. I thought he was all right, but maybe he's turning a page. I do think though that the Thibodeau fire, I've been so conflicted on it because it's like, yo, you just got to a Western Conference Finals and it was better than the year before, where like you got to like the semifinal the Eastern Conference Final. I'm a schmuck. You just got to an Eastern Conference Final. And you were just in the semi of the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So it's like, yeah, there's improvement. And you were banged up. Like, obviously you were supposed to beat that Indiana team last year, but there was injury, so I couldn't really put that on him. But here's how I've made peace with it, right? Just looking from a non-biased standpoint, because I'm not a Knicks fan, right? Did he really out-coach JB Bickerstaff, or did he just have better talent in round 1 against Detroit? Did he really out-coach Joe Mazzulla? Or did Joe Mazzulla really just be that egotistical and refuse to change things up? Now, yes, there's an argument Thibs did outcoach him because he made adjustments, but I really think that was more of Joe Mazzulla's failure to adjust that really led the Knicks over them.
Healthy mix, I'd say. Healthy mix.
And now you look at, so even so, healthy mix. We can't even definitively say that he 1,000% outcoached him had Joe Mazzulla done what a head coach is supposed to do, right? Can't tell me Ime Udoka wouldn't have done that. And now you look at Rick Carlisle. We look at Rick Carlisle. And right again, congratulations, buddy. I'm going to call you Mr. Indiana from now on because you're just on it. Rick Carlisle, in my personal opinion, less talent, a deeper bench though, but a game plan and a mindset that his players bought into. He's made the best. He's gotten by far the best out of this Indiana team anybody could have gotten out of them, in my personal opinion.
I think Rick Carlisle is one of the most underrated coaches in the history of basketball. That's just a plain fact, bro. Like, NBA Finals, where we consider that NBA Finals run that the Mavericks had probably the most hard-earned championship in the history of the game. And now if the Pacers are able to get by OKC, that's 2 right there that are probably the 2 most hardest earned championships in the history of basketball by one guy with less talent than other teams.
Look me in my eyes when I tell you, if they somehow pull this off, Rick Carlisle is instantly a top 10 coach all time, and I might be advocating closer to 5 because it's that impressive.
Tyrese Halliburton's the face of the league.
No, he's not.
No,
the hell he's not. Stephen A. Smith, I love you. That was just brought to my attention from Ant right before. No, the hell he's not. What are you talking? Tyrese Halliburton is the face of the league.
I love Tyrese.
We were barely calling him an all-star. Now he's the face of the... Get out of here. What are we talking about? You play in Indiana, all right? There's a bigger markets popping. Not that a player can't be the face of a league because they play in Indiana, but like, you got to do something extraordinary. You got to have Caitlin Clark kind of hyped to be playing in that market and be considered the face of the league. That is insane. That list is ridiculous.
Stephen A. Smith lists his top 5 to be the new faces of the NBA. Number 5, Jason Tatum. Number 4, Shea. Number 3, Anthony Edwards. Number 2, Luka Doncic. Number 1, Tyrese Halliburton.
Dude, I'm sorry. I've said this multiple times. I don't think a foreign player is going to be the face of the league, and if anybody deserves it, it's probably Shea, right? I love Luka being a Lakers fan. But it's probably going to be Ant Edwards. It's probably going to be Jason Tatum, no matter how bad people don't want it to happen. It might be Victor Wembanyama for a little bit if he can stay healthy, but that is,
and you don't like Jokic.
Hard for it to be. He's not marketable. That's the problem.
We're getting off topic, so let's reel it back in.
So Carlisle deserves flowers, but like, dude, let's just face it. He outcoached Tom Thibodeau.
Absolutely.
You cannot tell me that this Knicks roster, in terms of marquee name to marquee names, and even depth for depth, we don't know because they barely freaking played. But I'm taking Deuce McBride off the bench over a lot of guys in that series, if I'm being 110% with you. Obi Toppin is looking like a premier athlete in the NBA at times. And I like Obi. He's got big bounce, and he's exciting when he gets on a runway. But that's Rick Carlisle scheming, putting him in the best chance. I mean, those boys were out there running their asses off left and right. Nick scored a bucket, instantly couldn't even turn around and get back on defense for a second. Siakam all the way down the court, getting the high pass, boom, nails it. Insert Miles Turner did it. Everybody was getting in on the action, like the perfect game plan. They're like, all right, bet you want to play your stars long minutes. You want to put guys out there till they're dog tired. We're just gonna run and we're gonna rotate and we're gonna run, and then we're gonna get a little gunning in there because we're gonna start hitting you with threes when you stop the transition. Good luck guarding us on the perimeter. We're not even trying to attack the basket like that, even though that could wear you down a little more. But we want to actually swing it to you on the outside to get you even more tired because it's harder to defend the perimeter than it is the paint. It's the perfect game plan when you're going against what Tom Thibodeau's throwing out there. Now, shout out to Thibs for trying to mix it up a little bit, but like Charlie said, it's not the time to experiment now with basic things that you should have already known about, that you should have been able to go to in games 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, for crying out loud. And it's just like, here we are. So it's like, Thibs, thank you. You did a great job, but honestly, I think it's time that it's you try something else out, and we'll get to what that something else is, but I think this is probably warranted, unfortunately. It's just one of those circumstances. We've hit the threshold. Nothing's really going to change because we've seen it, and here we are.
And I think this is
Here we are. For the first time, somebody that has reached a conference finals might have actually deserved to be moved on from.
And I think this is what the Knicks fans' sentiment was going into this season, right? Like, you expected Thibs to be on the leash this year after what happened last year with all the injuries and the way the team kind of broke down under his leadership in that second round against Indiana. But it's like, this year, the Knicks reached new heights, right? They got to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 1999. The team was playing with such a vigor and an emotional sort of way that they were buying around, down 20 points multiple times in the third quarter, and they were coming back and winning these games. Granted, they ran to a team in Indiana who's just been playing really, really hot basketball, so you can't really even blame the Knicks, in my opinion. I think Thibs deserves some blame for the coaching decisions, like you said, Mazz. I think his adjustments were not great throughout that series. I think their starting lineup definitely needed to get changed, Charlie. That needed to be done. And I think Thibs deserves some blame for that. But I do think we're over-exasperating, Tibbs's impact on this loss with the Knicks. I think the Knicks flat out lost this series. I think Jalen Brunson was tired. You saw it throughout Game 4, Game 5. He was hands on his knees every single possession. The guy's tired. He's trying to put up 35, 40 points every single night for the Knicks, and he's going to get worn out eventually. And by the Eastern Conference Finals, I think you sort of saw the Knicks were starting to just play tired. They need a second scoring option. I love Cat, but he's too inconsistent to be the number 2 scoring option on this Knicks team. They need to go out there, and they need to get either Giannis or KD. One of those two. And they need to pair it up with Jalen Brunson. Because I think the defense is fine, outside of maybe Cat. You have good wing defenders. You have Josh Hart as a good perimeter defender. I just think you need that second scoring option was the last missing piece to this Knicks team. And I think they ran out of gas because Brunson basically ran out of gas in that Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I disagree. I think Cat's a fine second scoring option. What you saw was a lack of playmaking. They didn't have a secondary ball handler in that whole entire series. I mean, Jalen Brunson, the reason why he's so gassed is because the Pacers were picking him up the entire court. You know what I mean? Like you saw it in like games 4, 5, and 6. You saw Mikal Bridges start taking some of that playmaking responsibility, and it led to nothing. What they need is and they had guards on the bench. Deuce McBride, great spot-up shooter. I don't know how well he can run an offense, but Cam Payne, who was supposed to be your backup point guard, gave you nothing. Aside from a massive run in Game 1 of the Detroit series, he was basically a zero for the rest of the playoffs. I think Giannis, I mean, absolutely would totally trade for Giannis. I don't know what that package would look like. I wouldn't like give up Cat and Bridges or Cat and Anunoby. I would do Cat and maybe like a rookie like Tyler Kolek.
Cat and Bridges, right? They're two players. I think Giannis encapsulates both of their value into one player. He brings the Mikal Bridges defense. It was a DPOY candidate, for crying out loud. And he brings you 31 points per game, which is, 7 more points per game that Cat's going to bring you? You're basically rolling those two players up into one. I would do that. Here's my
problem with it, right? I need more depth. I need to, like...
But the Knicks have depth already. You're giving up two players for one.
No, they don't. They don't have depth. They have a starting 5 and maybe a 6-man. All right? maybe can go to 7 of guys that like you 110% trust. I would like to see just a little tweaks to this roster. I don't want to see a giant change like a Giannis, if I'm being honest, for New York. This will work. And Ant, I'm sorry, Jalen Brunson is tired, and yeah, it's more on Thibs for the sole fact of he should be in shape. He played him friggin' 40 minutes the entire season. If you ain't ready to go now, like, for crying out loud, like, that shit. It's not that Jalen Brunson has terrible conditioning. Jalen Brunson has a narrative around him.
I'm not saying he's a terrible condition. I'm saying he's getting
saying
tired because he's having to carry the load all the time.
He's getting tired because there's no rotation coming in for somebody. Like, a Chris Paul is out there right now. It's going to be cheap on the damn team. You bring that in. That is veteran leadership. That is a guy who is dying to get a championship before it's all said and done. And he's going to be on 1-year contracts for the remainder of the damn years that he has left. Probably 1 at 2 maximum. I guarantee you it's probably going to be this last year, especially if he was able to go with the Knicks and win a chip. Dude, that Cat is a second scoring option, and it can work. He's a defensive liability. That's the problem. The starting 5 of Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Cat, Brunson, it's doing pretty damn good. Josh Hart coming on in there, Mitch Robinson coming on in there, what have you. All right, you mix those guys in, and then it's just Deuce McBride. That's all you got left with it. Everybody else, it's a question mark because they didn't get enough playing time, but also, were they necessarily the guys that you wanted to see? I don't know, but clearly when you're playing a team like Indiana, you gotta find out fast if you're going to be able to go with it because they're playing nonstop coming at you. You score, we're down the other court. You hit a 3. Not only are we hitting a 3 to tie you up, we're then full court pressing you, forcing your tired ass to come up with a turnover, and then we're hitting an easy layup on your ass too. We're double teaming everything, and if I get tired, I'm tagging out, and some dude you've never heard of before this damn series, unless you're a Pacers fan, is in your face talking smack and scoring points on you, buddy. This is the problem. It all comes down to coaching.
So 2 quick things real quick. Number 1, guess who was Chris Paul's agent when he was first coming into the league?
Gee, Leon Rose?
The Don Leon, baby.
It's a family affair going on in New York right now, dude. Good God.
Number 2, a note on Thibs being outcoached by Carlisle. So the Pacers were just running the Knicks out of the gym, right? And what was Thibs' solution? 2 centers, 2 bigs. What? Like, how do you not insert Deuce McBride in there, who's a better perimeter defender than Josh Hart is? Probably spaces the floor better for you, too. And the other thing, too, is we never saw any 5-out spacing for the Knicks. Whenever you saw Cat and Josh Hart on the floor together, they always put whoever was matched up on Hart on Cat and the center on Josh Hart, because Josh Hart doesn't have a 3-point game. Love what he does rebounding-wise. Love what he does playmaking and how he can bring the ball up sometimes. But he's kind of a liability out there in certain situations. I think Josh Hart's more suited for a 6-man role off the bench. He started this year, maybe some politic in there because him and Jalen Brunson are best friends and they got the podcast or whatever. But there was just, it seemed like there was some obvious things that he just didn't even attempt to do. And I'll tie it back again. Through 82 games in the regular season, you never once saw any experimentation, ever.
And here's also a problem with that, too, right? Where it's like, Josh, if your 3's not falling, which it hasn't really the entire season, yeah, you've hit like a couple of shots, but no one's ever sitting there and telling you that Josh Hart is a premier 3-point shooter in this league. And it's never like, oh, you can't leave Josh Hart wide open. Yes, you can, because you don't know what's going to happen. It's a legitimate crapshoot when he's shooting the ball, right? For the love of God, pick up some damn dribbling then, all right? Like, give me a little penetration and kick, all right? And Mikal Bridges, oh my God, Mikal Bridges. If I see this guy, dude, his body is built for attacking the damn rim. It is literally built to slither in and out. He's got length and speed and a decent damn touch. Get in the paint. Start penetrating defenses. Jam it down when you can. Take some contact. Please, for the love of God, please stop settling for mid-ranges. Please stop dribbling out for 3s when you literally are 5 feet away from the basket just because one person's in front of you. Like, guys need to adjust. I get what you want to do. I get what your strong suit is, but it's not like anybody's asking you to change your complete play style over the course of a month. We're asking you to try it out over the damn season. You can't just keep on doing the same thing over and over again, especially when you get into series basketball play. There's film. These are other professionals. They're going to pick up on your tendencies, and you got to have something to go to when that they're not used to when they're locked into it. They guarded the Knicks perfectly. Perfectly. Coaching.
All right. Mazz, who's your pick for the next Knicks coach?
I'll tell you right now, I'm glad because I was just about to go there. I think this is not the time, and I know that there's a couple of guys out there, right? We'll get to it. I don't want to hear about Mike Malone for the sole fact of he lost his locker room. Yes, he won a championship, but he lost his damn locker room. A locker room that has the best player in the damn sport in it. A locker room that has a playoff riser like Jamal Murray who's going to go out there.
Like Michael Porter Jr.
Okay, sure, but it also has Aaron Gordon. It's not like he lost Michael Porter Jr. That was it. That was the deciding factor. He lost the reigning MVP before Shea just took it, right? Like, this guy has been winning MVP after MVP, and he didn't want him here. Because guess what? If he wanted him, he would have been staying, all right? There's no big personalities going on. It's not like the GM wanted him out. His ass got kicked out too. Maybe he did, but like it's not like that mattered because he got kicked out the door with them the exact same day. It's not like ownership is known for being, braggadocious and speaking up all the time. I can't even tell you who the damn owner of the Denver Nuggets is right now off the top of my head. All right? Like, the biggest voice in the organization has to be the guy who does not want to be the face of the NBA. He just wants to get paid and collect his MVPs in Nikola Jokic. All right? You lost that guy. That guy that has no ego, that just wants to show up, does his damn job, and go the hell home. You lost that guy. Mike Malone should not be the guy. I'm sorry. I've been hearing a name out of Cleveland that might, be putting places on the map. What's up?
Make the case, Ant. Make the case, because I know you like Mr. Malone.
I do like Mr. Malone, and here's why. He did win a championship, and that's something that I feel like we always just overlook. He won a championship. He won a championship 2 freaking years ago. It's not like he won a championship a decade ago, like Rick Carlisle, but now he is in the finals, so I'm not going to use that as a good example. He won a championship 2 seasons ago. I get it. He had the best player on the planet, but he still had to get those guys in the right spots, in the right personnel. Look at what Tom Thibodeau just did. He had a top 10 player in the NBA and some great personnel around him. Couldn't get the job done. I think Mike Malone has shown in the past that he has the winning capabilities to put a good team on the basketball floor and go out there and win a championship. And I think that we just overlooked that just because he lost the locker room over the course of 1 season. So now let's just fire him because he lost the locker room over 1 season. Ridiculous. I think Mike Malone is a really good head coach in this league. And earlier in this year, I'd say probably November, December, everybody's consensus top 3 coach in the NBA was Mike Malone. I would not hear anybody else hear differently. Mike Malone's a top 3 head coach in the NBA. In 5 months, he's now a bum and shouldn't have a job in the NBA anymore? How does that happen?
I'm not saying he shouldn't have a job in the NBA. I'm saying I don't think he's the right guy for this Knicks squad.
So where do you think he should be? In a rebuilding situation? No, he's a winner. He should be in a situation where he can be ready to win now because that's what he's good at.
I think that taking this Knicks job is going to be the most high-pressure job in the sport of basketball, if I'm being completely honest.
So you want to give a first-year head coach that position?
Hold on. No. That's why I'm saying the dude out of Cleveland is not the choice. It ain't it. I'm sorry. No.
Johnny Bryant.
No. Yeah, no. Absolutely.
Help me out here.
Johnny Bryant.
Johnny Bryant.
Yeah, not like, I think Johnny Bryant is definitely going to be a head coach probably this season. I would not be surprised if the Knicks end up doing it. It would be the wrong move. You do not take this roster in this same scenario that literally was just in the Eastern Conference Finals, who just literally let go of the guy who helped build this thing back up from scratch. Literally nothing to work with. It started with Julius freaking Randle as the only piece.
I have a feeling who I know you're going to go with here.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess right now.
Go ahead, give it to me.
Dan Hurley.
No, but I'll tell you that if I wouldn't even be mad if he like came because he didn't want to come to the Lakers because he tried to do his thing.
And he's a New Jersey guy.
That would be awesome.
New Jersey guy.
He's a New Jersey guy.
He cited staying on the East Coast when declining the Laker job.
And staying with it, he's still in the relatively same area. I wouldn't even be mad about that. That's a guy that I think that is going to be an NBA coach at some point and is going to be good. But here's why he's not my number one pick. Because for the same reason, I know you can get it done at college at the highest level. This is a different ball game, and you have to coach differently. And this is not the team for you to learn on the job. You need to get a guy who's got 50-win seasons, who's been known from working with a couple of talented guys, and then using bench play. Is known to pace and space, run after it. It's been known to.
If you say Monty Williams right now, I swear.
I'm not saying Monty. I'm not saying Monty. No.
Oh my God, he's lagging at this perfect moment.
Taylor Jenkins should be the next head coach of the New York Knicks. Oh God, I'm sorry.
How are you going to say? How are you going to say no to Malone but yes to Taylor Jenkins?
I'll tell you why I'm saying yes to Taylor Jenkins, because this is a guy who did not deserve to get fired. He didn't lose his locker room. They literally were not winning at times strictly off of injury. That is the only time that this Memphis team wasn't doing good, is when their best guys couldn't be on the damn court. He's been known to experiment with depth. He's been known to change up play styles throughout these runs of getting 50 wins. Like, this is a guy who, like, if Ja Morant could just stay on the damn court, they're probably making bigger noise in the playoffs. For this roster, for what they need to get done with the experience, no bad taste, this is the guy for me, fellas. Like, there's no learning curve. There's no, like, having to step into a new role and figure out how to go. He's been a head coach. He's cranked out 50-win seasons before. And this is a roster where if you just tweak a little things within the depth of it, not the starting lineup, the depth of it, he can literally use these guys to the perfect example. Cat can be the number 2 and rise to the number 1 when he wants to. Jalen Brunson can drop his 30 points, but get his much needed rest when needed to, because he's not going to be afraid to go to the next guy. Get a veteran point guard in there. I don't give a damn who the rest of the depth is. It's going to work because Taylor Jenkins is not going to be afraid to go to that depth. I really believe that this should be the next head coach because, like I said, Hurley's got to learn on the job. Johnny got to learn on the job. Malone, I'm very confused about what the hell happened there. How the hell do you lose Nikola Jokic as the guy? I'm not saying that he shouldn't be a head coach. I just don't think the Knicks job is right for him right this second. I firmly believe, all things considered, and I do not think the Dallas Mavericks are letting go of Jason Kidd anytime soon. I don't even know what that would have to look like for like that trade for it to happen, because that's really like the only way that it could happen. And Ime Udoka is not happening, especially from Houston. I don't see those happening. I understand wanting those two guys. Those should be the guys that you want. I just don't necessarily see those deals getting done. So for what's out there in the field and for everything that I think that needs to go on, especially of just on the cusp of getting all the way, Taylor Jenkins is this Knicks roster, damn it. Let's make a marriage and get to the finals.
All right. Where do I start here? Malone. So Malone is a no for me for two things. Number one, Stefan Bondi of the New York Post already reported that he's actually not even in consideration right now for the Knicks job. And the reason why is because he comes from the same coaching tree that Tom Thibodeau came from. Thibs is basically Michael Malone light. Why did he get fired? He lost the locker room. They needed a new voice in there, and he refused to play the young guys. He was playing his starters like 40 minutes a night, six-man rotation in the playoffs, and obviously you saw when the new guy came in, I can't remember his name at the moment, he opened the rotation up, and that got him past the Clippers. It took him 7 games with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Malone, I know he's New York based. His dad was an assistant coach for the Knicks way back in the day, but it would just kind of be like having more of the same, having Thibodeau. So Malone not on the table. Taylor Jenkins, I wouldn't hate it, but it just doesn't really excite me. It's just kind of like a meh, like I don't know, things in Memphis got stale. That's kind of what happened there. He didn't lose the locker room. The players were very upset when he got fired. But what happened was they went like 2-15 over a span of a month, and the offense wasn't working, the defense wasn't working. It something went wrong there.
Players went wrong there. That's my problem.
Okay.
Between injury, attitude, what have you, that was players. That wasn't him. You know.
early would be cool. I don't know if I see him leaving college ranks just yet. People joke about Jay Wright. That's not going to happen. He got the hell out of Dodge when NIL came in, so I doubt he wants to be coaching professionals. Guys, Johnny Bryant is the answer here. Okay, this guy's got experience with Quinn Snyder out in Utah. He was with the Knicks with Thibodeau from 2020 to 24, and then spent a lot of time with Kenny Atkinson and the Cleveland Cavaliers this year as the top assistant. What's up?
You said Quinn Snyder.
Quinn Snyder was a good coach in Utah.
That's a guy.
Come on, guys.
That's a guy
I'm sorry,
who
I'm not
lost the
giving
locker
that.
room.
You know what? You know what I know about
playoffs.
Quinn Snyder. You know what? My favorite memory. I talk about this all the time. Why I hate Quinn Snyder? Because failed adjustments. Right,
Okay.
Rudy Gobert and freaking 2-1-2 defense, and Rudy Gobert was going back and forth, freaking defending a 3 against the Clippers. They should have swept the Clippers that year when they had Donovan Mitchell, right? But no, it's literally the worst defensive adjustment I've seen since Jackson Hayes out on the damn perimeter in a zone defense like the Lakers did against the Timberwolves this past playoffs, right? Or this current playoffs, I should say, right? Like, yeah. So hey, I was wondering why you were looking at it, but listen, he coached under him. That's where you got to start. So that's fine.
One last thing.
Continue,
One last thing. So not only does he have all this coaching experience, when he was hired by the Knicks in 2020, he wasn't hired by Tom Thibodeau. Leon Rose in the front office handpicked this guy and said, "We're putting him on your staff," that's pretty crazy because Tom Thibodeau is very, very picky when it comes to his staff. He got overruled on that one. Not only do I think he's a good fit, but I think he's in the good graces of the front office. And it was very timely on Tuesday. Tuesday morning, Shams Charania reported that him, Johnny Bryant, and another Cleveland finalist, I think his name's Ott, can't remember his first name, were the 2 finalists for the Phoenix Suns head coaching job. 2 hours later, Thibs is fired. So if you're just connecting dots there, maybe the Knicks, Rose and Worldwide West saw that headline and were like, hey, we're going to lose our guy. Let's make the move.
Well, I also heard, Charlie, I actually agree with you that Bryant's going to be the next head coach. I'm making the case as to why he shouldn't be, right? But I'm also saw reports, I don't know exactly how accurate it is, but I actually heard that he declined the Phoenix job because he was interested in the Knicks job. So I do believe that he's going to be the next head coach. I'm on that trail. I'm just making the case that Taylor Jenkins should be and is the guy that they need. Not the guy that they want, the guys that they need. They don't need the sexy name right now. They need the effective guy who's going to get the most out of this roster. And I just feel that Bryant, it's going to be, like, I know that he's been having the title of, not even assistant. I think he's been, like, called, like, an associate head coach. With the Knicks and with the Cavs, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, I get that. However, there's still a learning curve that's got to come with it because now it's all on you. The decisions are coming on you, and I just feel like Jenkins has had that pressure before. So that's why I think that he should be. But yeah, Charlie, I do think that Johnny Bryant is going to be the next Knicks head coach.
All right,
hey, man. Eric Spoelstra was once a first-time head coach. Greg Popovich was once a first-time head. Pat Riley was once a first-time head coach. Okay, so
but those were all situations that were not as complete builds as this Knicks team is right here. We got a window, buddy.
It's Doc Rivers time.
The Lakers in 1980 weren't a complete build. The Heat and what year did Spoelstra start? It was like 2011, 2010.
They weren't complete.
It was before LeBron.
They had Dwayne Wade.
Wasn't it?
When did you tell me Eric Spoelstra became the Heat head coach in 2011? I'll fall out of this chair right now if that's true.
I actually don't. Let's check.
I could have sworn he got there just a little bit earlier. Like he had like 2 like throwaway years, especially. Like it's nowhere near this Knicks team. Like this, dude. I'm telling you, this Knicks team could be it at this point. Like they went toe to toe with a Boston completely healthy outside of Kristaps Porzingis. Like I genuinely believe that if the Knicks are ever going to win a championship, it's right this second in the next 2 years tops. There's a 2-year window for the New York Knicks, in my personal opinion.
All right.
You are correct.
Now, I don't know if they're going to get the job done, but like it's not the time to figure out.
2008, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. There was a couple of years to dick around with. All right, like
That's 2 years removed from a championship after D Wade.
Yeah, but they also blew up the entire roster because Shaq was out of there, that Jay Will was out of there. The only thing that they kept was Dwayne Wade. Like, there was nothing popping in South Beach like that in terms of like, hey, we're definitely going to be going all the way in. They hit the rebuild and they said, hey, we got to tear this thing down and get to a new direction when they did that. The Knicks are primed right this second. The moment has just passed. Don't let the rest of the moments pass because there's only so many of them. You need an established guy right here, right now, and I just don't think that this is the guy that should be getting to learn on the job. You're gonna wait. No, don't get me wrong. 10 years out, this could be the best head coach in the friggin' league. I have no clue. But for what you need right now, this is not learning time. The training wheels are off, bitch. We're getting after it. We're going for the gold, and I want an established guy leading that locker room if I'm a Knicks fan.
I honestly, I'll be real with me. That's not a priority for me. It's really not. I don't think you need someone who's done it before. I think you can get away with hiring a first-time guy. And yeah, dude, the NBA regular season's 82 games long. If you're not Tom Thibodeau, you can use that time to experiment and test things out and learn how to do head coach things. So, hey, Johnny Bryant, I'd say it's like an 80% chance he's the head coach. I don't know how soon of an announcement that's going to be, or when we're going to start seeing like an interview list or whatnot. But I'm all in on Johnny Bryant.
How confident are you for a Joe Mazzulla situation to strike twice like that?
Oh, you mean like Ime Udoka, kind of thing?
Ime would have never got fired without the scandal, so it's like Joe Mazzulla comes in, boom, championship not too long after. Are you confident that this could happen again? Because I genuinely think that Boston roster was just that ridiculous.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because two things. Number one, I think the talent is there, and they're only going to add to it. You're not losing anybody. The entire starting five will be back next year. The only guys who are entering contract years are Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson. Everybody else is coming back. You're losing Landry Shamet, DeLon Wright, and Campaign, but you can replenish that depth.
They can go out the damn door,
exactly.
And you're not even missing that.
So the talent is there, and number two, the East is going to be weak as hell next year, dude. Boston's not going to be the team they were. Tatum's not going to play for at least 3/4 of the season minimum. And, I mean, besides, if you look around, it's really just Cleveland, Indiana, New York in the top three. That's really your big competition in the Eastern Conference. Unless, the team comes out of nowhere, Detroit makes a major step or something,
Ace Bailey is going to change the entire franchise of the 76ers. What are you talking about?
I mean, he might.
He might. Joking.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Listen, I think that they have bigger problems outside of just one player coming in.
All right. We've dodged around it too long. NBA Finals, Game 1. Tonight, here, it's 6:57 right now. The Game 1 starts in what, an hour?
I believe it starts 8 o'clock. That's tip, yeah.
So we're 1 hour out from Game 1. Guys, what's your first impressions of this Finals matchup? Pacers, Thunder.
This is
Thunder and 6.
Big brother versus little brother. This is the exact same teams playing each other, in my personal opinion. But OKC has the way better star. They have the way better depth. They have I don't want to say the way better coach. I think the coaching is actually, comparable, but it's the same roster build for me, the same style of play. Just one does it much better than the other one. So I think Indiana's going to throw the kitchen sink at them, and they're going to be sprinting their butts off for especially the first 3 games of just trying anything. And I wouldn't be surprised if they end up catching them sleeping in Game 2 or Game 3. But for tonight, OKC is going to show them just why they have the reigning MVP and why they are a back-to-back 1 seed in the better conference known as the West for the past 2 seasons. I think we are potentially going to see belt to ass tonight from OKC flexing muscle. And I'm actually with Charlie. I got OKC in 5 or 6. I'll say 6 just because I've been counting out Indiana far too often, and they've put belt to ass to me with my takes of just what this team is. But I'm sorry, I'm not gonna fall in love with a team just because they took down the Knicks. I'm not gonna fall in love with a team because they took down injured Cavs in a banged up Bucks. All right, it is what it is, and everything my heart, soul, and this beautiful, beautiful cranium mind of mine is saying OKC is going to dominate the series. But they will take a game off in Indiana at some point.
Yeah, I think Indiana's home court's good enough to pick up at least 1 or 2 games there. Gainbridge Fieldhouse, that place jumps in the postseason. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like because this is their first finals in 25 years since the Reggie Miller Pacers were taken down by the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. But yeah, Matt, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's basically like Indiana's like the AAA version of Oklahoma City. They're deep, they run. They're pretty efficient on offense, but the big difference is OKC's defense is just like miles better, like miles. Because Indiana doesn't really play great defense. It was really their offense that carried them through the postseason. And their offense is that good that it can, but I think you're gonna see an unstoppable force hit an unmovable object, and that object's not gonna move. You know what I'm saying?
The defense is insane. Shea, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso off the bench. The only real weak link of that defense is probably Chet. But, like, it's just the fact that the OKC has so many guys around them that they could, potentially just cover that up. I think the Thunder have this series. I think we're all in agreement the Thunder pretty much have this series locked up. I think this was my finals predictor early on in the year. Actually, before Boston. I thought I had Boston OKC, but I had Boston winning. But I had OKC coming in, and I think they're... As much as I love this Pacers team, this is the story in the NBA for pretty much every year. There's a team that nobody expects to make the finals. They creep in, and then the team that's expected to be there absolutely destroys them. I think this is another case of a team coming in, greatly overpowering them, winning in 5. Maybe I'll give Pacers benefit of the doubt. I say Thunder in 6. But I did see a take the other day. I wanted to bring this up to you. Somebody was saying online that Jalen Williams is Kawhi Leonard 2.0. In terms of his play style, not because of his resume. His play style.
What do you mean his play style? Like, no, he's not. Listen, he's not playing.
Jalen Williams on a basketball like that. I mean, I guess most basketball players can.
I know,
but like
I get it.
Score,
it's just
good
he's
defense.
not on that level for me yet. No, I don't want to hear.
No. I'm not saying on that
level.
He's as close to Kawhi. He's as close to Kawhi Leonard as Brandon Ingram is to Kevin Durant.
I like that. That's a good.
That's it. Like, yeah, I can see like the similarities of what you're talking about. They're not the same guy. They're not. But listen, he does a great job for what Oklahoma needs him to do. Right. Does a great job of filling his role. And talking about Chet too, with the worst defender, he's also 7 freaking foot, and he's kind of mobile with it. So even with a Pascal Siakam, like this is not going to be like Mitch Robinson's feet caught in concrete if he goes out to the perimeter. This is not going to be just Cat's lack of defense. Like this is a guy where it's like even if I got Isaiah Hartenstein helping out, and I got everything else collapsing down on it, and I literally just need to use my big ass frame to just try and alter
minutes.
Yeah,
he'll probably be in there 34, 35 minutes in this series.
Sure.
Per game. They're going to need him out there,
so
especially Miles Turner.
The only physical mismatch I see in favor of Indiana is Pascal Siakam. I mean, because you have Hartenstein on Turner, right? But is Chet Holmgren going to guard Pascal Siakam? Because that's a recipe for disaster right there. I will say I think there's enough. OKC has enough to make up for that.
Yeah.
But if Siakam can, go for 40 a game or something, that's where, 3-4 wins are coming from.
I think the length of Holmgren and just like the rest of it collapsing on it, I think that's, like I said, is going to be like enough to make up for it. They're not going to win that matchup. They're going to lose that matchup probably every damn night. But there's just enough to help out to slow it down where it's not going to be as exposed as it was for the Knicks, respectfully, And I think if you just go down with it, I think Miles Turner, Isaiah Hartenstein. I like Turner. I think he's actually the more skilled player, but give me the dog over the skill any day of the week. I think Isaiah Hartenstein is going to win the bulk of that matchup. You look at, Holmgren versus Siakam. That's the win for me. Let's move up over to point guard. Tyrese Halliburton versus Shea. It's not even a question. I'm sorry. Like we're going to be seeing Gilbert Arenas level hibachi status for me. All right, like Shea's that nice. I said what I said. I don't care. Listen, for everything that Halliburton has done good, Jalen Brunson was still popping off for 35, 40 points. So why wouldn't the league MVP be able to do the same damn thing when he's the better athlete out of him and Jalen Brunson?
Well, they probably won't be guarding each other though. I mean, like Brunson. Sure. Brunson guarded by Nesmith and Nembhard the entire series. I mean,
listen, if you want to throw them at Shea, that's what you want to throw at Shea.
Who else you got?
Tyrese better step up to the damn plate and do
Benedict
something. He at least got the
maturing.
length. You know? No, we don't want that either. We don't want
Barbecue chicken.
Everywhere you look, OKC.
Sorry.
Has just got it going. Charlie, tell us how you really feel about Canada, buddy.
Benedict Mathurin's a Canadian, and he was pissing me off in that Knicks series. Through the first 4 games, he was averaging like 6 points, and then 4, 5, and 6, he goes off for like 20 a game. Like, dude, fuck you. You know what I'm saying?
Good for him. That's what he's supposed to do.
I'm over it.
That's what he's supposed to do.
I'm not over it.
I mean, he had fallen off for a little bit there after
Charlie,
being
don't
the
lie
second
to me.
scorer in Indy for a while.
Charlie, you'd be applauding that performance if it wasn't against the blue and orange.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, listen.
Quote answer,
I
yes. Yes.
Listen, I as far as I know, most Knicks fans are rooting for an even bigger Canadian in this series because they're a little salty about Indiana, and they're definitely rooting for Shy to, whoop out the ass whooping here and put a little maple syrup on the sides.
And we're bringing the Knicks back to it.
Dude, it's still fresh. Let them live. Let them live. All right, still fresh. But nah, dude, I don't even want to be proven wrong by Indiana because I'm just so sick of being wrong. But I've never had a team just like have me eat my words
What about
so
Miami?
often. What about Miami?
The first Miami run, you definitely were not
Which
saying
one?
Miami was going to the finals when they played Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. You were
Yeah, sure,
not
but
saying that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, but like I wasn't talking that much smack because I've always said I'll follow Jimmy Butler off the face of the planet
Whoa,
at that
whoa,
time.
no,
I
no.
love Jimmy.
That was after those 2 finals appearances. You
Which
weren't
one?
you
Which
weren't glazing Jimmy Butler when he was in that.
Whoa, listen.
You weren't saying
first
Jimmy
off-
Butler was the
first off-
guy to get you to a championship.
No, hold on.
You weren't
Whoa,
saying
whoa.
that. No.
Whoa.
I'm not giving you
Whoa.
that.
I'm not taking credit for it. We weren't on a platform. I have no clue how I felt at the damn time. I was just enjoying Jimmy Butler taking down Giannis.
Wait. That first finals appearance. We were on the JJL Sports Talk Show.
We were doing Ant and Mazz then.
No, we weren't. I'm talking the bubble. I was in Florida.
Oh, the bubble. Okay, yeah, no.
The first finals appearance. It's in the bubble.
I thought you were talking about 22.
No, that was the second finals appearance. All right, I was enjoying.
You were enjoying it, but you definitely had to take that
Jimmy Taking down Giannis. I didn't have takes for you back then like this. Jimmy what? The Jimmy what?
You're trying to tell me you didn't have a take on it. You definitely had a take on it. You're trying to conceal it right now. You're trying to conceal your take right now.
I've always said this. I've been consistent about Jimmy Butler throughout my entire time. I think Jimmy Butler with Chicago was just a guy that had like for when he started blossoming. Everybody like if they would have had Jimmy Butler for what he would have been, if does come back to Thibs, but if Chicago had Jimmy Butler like just a little bit older with Derrick Rose, Noah, Boozer, and those guys, shit, they might have beat LeBron. I don't know. Like that's literally what they needed, that kind of a guy, right? And then Minnesota, I said, you guys damn messed up because you're going with these 2 Charmin-ass soft kids. And you got Jimmy Butler, who's quite literally playing with the second unit, smoking. I'm talking shit to Thibs and the management the entire time. And then he goes down to Philadelphia. They choose Tobias Harris over him. I thought that was ridiculous, too. So it's like, I've been rocking with Jimmy Butler for a very long time. When he got to Miami, I loved it. I never thought he would make it to the NBA Finals with that roster. But, like, I am a Jimmy Butler guy. I'm not a Tyrese Halliburton guy. I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend that I am. I'm not a Pascal Siakam guy, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I am. I like Miles Turner because he's been linked to the Lakers a lot of times, and I need a freaking center. I've needed a center for years, but I'm not going to sit there and tell you that Miles Turner is on a higher level for me than Jimmy Butler has ever been in. So yes, has there been teams that have done stuff that I didn't see coming? Has there been players that have definitely exceeded expectations? Sure, but in a Jimmy case, I was rocking with him the entire time. I've been hating on Indiana since this entire run. All right, and I'm not gonna sit here and start acting like I'm an Indiana fan. All right, even though that like I kind of was slightly rooting for them just a little bit, being in that Connecticut bar, but I was rocking with New York. Like I said the entire time, I want New York to win because I think we're gonna get a better finals out of it. But, you know, I'm not an Indiana guy. I have not been rocking with Indiana, and you're not going to see me sit here and be like, Indiana this, Indiana that.
You hate.
So what are you saying?
You hate this finals matchup. Be honest. You both. I know Charlie makes sense why he wants the Knicks, and you just hate seeing small market teams in the finals. You hate it. Absolutely hate it.
It has nothing to do with a small market team. It's this small market team. Not that I hate Indiana. It's just like I generally looked at this roster and went, no way. There's just no way. And I was wrong. I'm sick of being wrong. So, yeah, like, I'm a hater that they've made it, but, like, yo, they deserve it. I'm not going to sit there and act like they don't deserve it.
Smallest market teams that have been, like, matched up together in the finals. Combined.
Yeah, it's got to be up there.
Full transparency on my end. I mean, yeah, of course, as a Knicks fan, I'm salty because I feel like, you know, the Knicks should be in the finals. But as a basketball series, like it appears to be like a fun matchup on both sides. You know what I mean? Like in theory, it should be like a fun watch. You know what I mean? Like these teams are just going to be running up and down the court for 48 minutes. Should be fun. I'm excited for tonight.
I really hope OKC doesn't try to slow down the pace and. Like, I just want to, let's just get after it. Fast, boom, 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 boom. Like, this is what I'm here for. This is the best I could take out of it. And like I said, if Indiana pulls this off, to me, forget about Dirk. They got nobody on Dirk's level. This is the hardest championship I've ever seen, just in terms of the talent on the team getting it done. Yes, they benefited from situations, but they also played a completely healthy Knicks team that I still believe they had no business beating.
Tyrese Halliburton had a perfect QBR. I don't want to hear this, okay? I don't want to hear this. He had a perfect QBR. He doesn't turn the ball over.
You're taking him over Dirk all time?
No.
You taking him over Shea?
All time or just like
to start your franchise next season, you taking him over Shea?
Nah,
you taking him over Brunson?
It's close.
You taking him over Brunson?
Very close.
But are you?
Very
okay,
close.
But are you taking it?
I don't know, man. I mean,
yes
Tyrese had less talent around him and beat him in a 7-game
Listen.
series.
Okay, better coaching. All right, but anyway, are you taking him over Brunson? And did he really, like, yes, he had less, like, big names, but let's be honest, like, he wasn't scoring some nights and they were still winning. So, like,
give it to me.
Let's not act. Shut up! You don't even believe that. You're trolling right now. You do not believe that. You are not starting a franchise tomorrow and taking Jalen Brunson over and taking Tyrese Halliburton over Jalen Brunson.
That's Mr. Face of the League, perfect QBR, Tyrese Halliburton you're talking about right now.
You literally
15 assists, no turnovers. That doesn't happen, bro.
Literally
doesn't happen in general. It happens in an NBA Eastern Conference Finals
How
game.
could I piss these two idiots off more? You do not believe this. I'm not taking that. You wouldn't take him over a Donovan Mitchell neither, and you wouldn't take him over a Giannis Antetokounmpo. You might not even
Giannis, but definitely Donovan Mitchell.
You're taking him over Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah.
Dude, you're insane. You're absolutely insane.
He makes winning basketball, man.
Dude, if Donovan Mitchell had the guys that were supposed to be around him, he would have took him down. He's playing with C.D. Osman out there.
There's a reason why there's
I don't think Chetty Osman's been on the Cavs in years, dude. Come on.
There's a dime a dozen Donovan Mitchells in the NBA right now. There's so many just prolific scorers. There are not that many Tyrese Halliburton.
Whoa, it's not, dude. Donovan Mitchell is not a dime a fucking dozen.
There's so many scorers in the NBA already. You got Shea, you got Giannis, you got Donovan Mitchell, you got freaking Jalen Brunson. You got all these scorers, right?
And I'm taking him over the one guy who passes the ball pretty well.
He passes the ball pretty well. He's winning series against teams he shouldn't be winning against.
I promise you.
Multiple years in a row.
Do you believe Tyrese Halliburton is the main factor to the Indiana Pacers' success?
Yes.
Because I think it's coaching right now. I think it's Pascal Siakam, particularly in that last series.
Sure.
And you know what? The NBA agrees with me.
Yeah, of course, Carlisle's system definitely plays a factor, but what does it need in order to run? It needs a prolific, pure point guard, and it's Tyrese Halliburton. And I'll be honest. I'm going to be completely honest. Pascal Siakam should not have won that Eastern Conference Finals MVP. It should have been Halliburton. It should have been Halliburton. It should have been Halliburton. I'm not smoking crack.
One shot?
No.
He should have won off of one shot? Are you kidding me?
And a 30-point, 15-assist triple-double with no turnovers.
One game.
And the shot that you just mentioned. That's two instances right there. That won 2 games. Pascal won 1 game.
Pull up their averages for that series. Pull up their averages.
Give me a sec.
Guys, I love you, but my mom's got a burger on the grill for me.
Let's just cover Aaron Rodgers real quick.
Real quick?
Yeah, real quick.
Well, this will be a quick segment here.
Mr. Rodgers has finally. We all knew it was coming. All right, I thought it. I really think it should have been freaking Minnesota, but let's be honest. Like we all knew it was coming. And Aaron Rodgers now a Pittsburgh Steeler, and Charlie, you're gonna be playing him at MetLife Week 1 because somehow the scheduling of the NFL is awesome. And
that's what I'm saying, dude. Everyone knew he was gonna be a Steeler. Like, everyone's like, "Oh my God, Rodgers is a Steeler today, dude." It was gonna happen.
I genuinely was debating once George Pickens got traded if he was going to hang up the cleats, because I am questioning right now why you trade George Pickens if you're bringing in an Aaron Rodgers.
I just don't think you want to be there.
I still, but like you got to go and trade for some. Go get Olave, then do something. You don't bring in Aaron Rodgers just for one season and not expect to try to go somewhere with it. Even the Jets attempted going all in, right? So it's like you 110%. I don't. You think he's gonna freaking mentor Will Howard? He don't give a shit about Will Howard. You think he's going to enhance Mason Rudolph at all? He don't give a shit about Mason Rudolph. You bring in Aaron Rodgers for one reason, because he's a 4-time freaking MVP of the league, and you're hoping that you could squeeze whatever freaking magical juice he has left out of him.
Well, I also think the fan base was...
He'll mentor Will Howard.
He could. He mentored Zach Wilson.
Yeah, that went so well.
Mentored Jordan Love.
He didn't want it, though. He didn't even want him.
Doesn't matter. He
didn't want him, but did it. He didn't want him, but he didn't resent him for it. Like he still took him under his wing.
I'm just saying, you don't bring that guy in just for one season just because you're, hoping that.
Of course not.
I
think also
you bring him in to compete.
The fan base also played a huge factor in why Aaron Rodgers is now a Steeler. I truly believe that, because they still think that they can win. And you realize this defensive core is only going to get older and older, and you only have so many years of prime TJ Watt, Cam Hayward starting to decline. I mean, you just brought in Harmon in the draft, but your defense is starting to, frankly, age out. So, like, you need to go now and try to get what you can from this defensive core before they move on. And the offense always been the issue with Pittsburgh. They run the football decently well, but their passing game is nowhere to be found. And now you bring in potentially a top 5 all-time quarterback. Granted, he's 40, but you're bringing him into this system now because you want to, give your offense a boost. I don't know why they traded George Pickens. Frankly, I think George Pickens should still be a Steeler right now, but I think the main factor was probably that George Pickens didn't want to be a Steeler. I think he was done with Mike Tomlin. I think he was done with the Rooneys. I think he was done with the entire culture in Pittsburgh. I just think it just wasn't meant for him, and I think he probably requested a trade silently in the offseason, and Pittsburgh was like, all right, let's see. And they don't want to make that stuff public, because once a trade request is public information, then the trade value goes completely down. So you wanted to at least get something for him, and then you trade him to Dallas, and Dallas gave him some picks. So that's the reason why George Pickens is no longer a Steeler.
Yeah, and the other facet of that too is Pickens is also, he's entering his last year of his contract, so they were going to have to pay him, and they just gave DK Metcalf $150 million. So I doubt they wanted to hand out 2 massive receiver contract extensions. That's just not really how the Steelers do things. In terms of trading him, though, I mean, could you have wrote him out one more year and then let him hit free agency, or maybe even franchise tag and trade or something? But I think they were just trying to get some value now. So let's think about it. Let's think about it. DK Metcalf. You got Michigan receiver Roman Wilson, who they drafted last year, who was kind of meh. Calvin Austin. You got Pat Freiermuth at tight end, and apparently maybe even Jonnu Smith at some point in the coming weeks. Who knows?
And they drafted a running back too.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Steelers. They're going to figure it out, dude. They're going to win 10 games, and we're all going to be sitting here in January like, oh, are they going to lose to Baltimore in the first round of the playoffs?
And
like, you know what I mean? So
I take a receiver.
Maybe. I heard rumors. There was rumors like a month ago that the Jets were going to trade Alan Lazard to the Steelers because Rodgers, but I don't know. Who knows?
You should want that.
Well, they drafted Caleb Johnson, who's just Najee 2.0. That's right.
Yeah, dude, workhorse out of Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean, like, dude, I'm not saying that the Steelers are going to be bad. I'm just saying, like, you do not bring that guy in for mentor purposes. Are you kidding me?
I think it's an added bonus.
You get the winning not the primary reason, but
it's definitely a secondary reason.
You go compete is what I'm saying.
He will.
You get after. So
Like,
don't be
I don't
surprised.
see your point here, Mazz.
You heard it here.
They're going to get both things out of him.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you need to go get a second wide receiver. Do not be surprised when they go get a second wide receiver.
Who would that be?
I think it's Olave.
Or Keenan Allen's still out there.
Allen is out there. Wouldn't hate that.
But then, like,
You
the
know,
problem
but
I see with Olave is, like, you're going to trade for him and then extend him when, I guess, because Pickens doesn't want to be a Steeler. Okay. All right.
Well, you have to remember too.
No, but
Pickens
it's the same
also.
principle. Same principle. I don't think you're going to trade a guy just to give him an extension when you just traded Pickens. Like if they were willing to pay a guy wide receiver 2 money, they would have given it to
Hold on.
Pickens.
Not necessarily for the sole fact of there was a deleted tweet from Pickens earlier in the week where like somebody pissed him off on Twitter and he said, "I forced my way out, buddy," and then deleted it. So like I don't know. Like maybe he was that much of a headache.
Yeah.
You know. So
He's a known headache. Bro. He's a known headache.
Yeah, so it's like, was he that toxic? I don't know, but he looks pretty happy in the blue and white, and I'm here for it. You know, I'm here for the 1-year mercenary rental. Thank you.
Boys, we up.
We up. We'll see what happens. Obviously, listen, we celebrate again for the second time. We're reiterating this. Our 1-year anniversary. Please come out after that episode is out. You know,
next week.
What's up?
Is next week's like we'll kind of suck ourselves off a little bit.
I'm going to sit there and I think next week is the last episode of season 1, not the first episode of season 2, but the last episode of season 1. You know, and thank you for this journey.
By now.
No, dude, we do this by years, and like there's.
It was on some podcasts. It was summer 2024, fall 2024, winter 2024.
God, I love the people that we associate with at times, but the thought process is not the same. We do it. I think a podcast season should be every year for me.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no.
That's the way it is on our RSS feed. We've been on season, actually technically season 4 because I had the Breath of Fresh Jets bullshit. That was technically 1 through 3, but you know, Mazz and Bad season 1.
It's Mazz and Bad's season 1, fellas. We're going through memories. We'll have some recaps. We'll be hitting breaking news. But next week's episode is going down memory lane of this past year. All right? That's it. Fellas, thank you. We'll see everybody else next time. Socials, YouTube, Instagram. We don't have a Twitter, but maybe we will one day.
Follow us on Twitter.
Dude, we don't have one.
Our individual accounts. I don't know. I can start tagging them.
Okay. Listen, Spotify, Apple Pod, wherever you get it, that's a show.
All right, now. Peace.
You have been listening to the Mazz and Bad Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.